Well, here we are in another diesel overhaul adventure. Working on Dad's D19 diesel. We took this motor apart, well I should say Bob took this motor apart last fall, and it's done everything that could really be done. We've kind of had done to it. The crank just needed to be polished. The block, that's the block we started with, and as you'll notice we have a different block. Show you the pitting on the top of that here in a minute, but this has got brand new bearings. The crank was polished, but it was within specs of standard bearings. That's nice. Overhaul kit, everything's fresh. We got new rod bushings. As you can see over here, new pistons, rings, sleeves, obviously I showed you that. Cam was within specs. All the tappets were in good shape. The head, we had new seats put in. It was plain just to get a little bit of the pitting out of it. New valves, valve springs were all within specs there. We had the injector gone through. The injection pump was working fine. I just had them put new seals in it, but every one of the injectors needed to be rebuilt. They were all popping like 400 psi early. And what else we have done to this thing? I think that's about it, isn't it? Yeah. You know, there's more work we could have had done, I guess, if we were unfortunate, but this is why I didn't want to plane the block here, just deal with that, but you can see the pitting in between here. It gets worse, as you can see right here. In order to take that out, we'd be looking for a special head gasket. In meetings, my brother had this block sitting there. It was out of a combine that, you know, the tack read less than 1,000 hours, how accurate that is, but it was all hooked up and working. So that's one thing, I guess. But anyway, this engine didn't have a lot of hours on it. It had locked up. Yeah, sleeves just came, and they just came right out. Everything is good there. So we're going to put this thing together. You guys have seen that 100 times. Once we start slapping parts on it and stuff, I'll bring you back and we'll talk about the fuel pump timing and stuff like that, kind of the interesting things on this. Alright, we got it together to this point. Crank and everything is in there and pretty. Turns over really nice. So we're doing the timing. This engine's kind of dummy proof. Timing mark there. Timing mark there. Then on the end of the shaft, well, you got a timing mark there. And inside of the pump, let me see if I can get it. You guys can see the dot at the bottom. Pretty simple to line up. So this little tool that we got was like $14 for this thing, and it came with 2 sets of seals. So it just helps you guide them in there. That's where I got this tool from. I strongly suggest getting one of these. They're less than $20, and he sends a seal kit with it. Alright, so a couple things I want to talk about. There's a serial break in these engines to where they changed a few things inside of the engine. This one is the late model. It's got the late cam grind, flat top pistons, and the head, the valves. They actually made the valves a little bit smaller, and there's an argument about the cam grind, if that was to give more duration. And then there's also guys that worked for Allis that claimed it was because high exhaust temperatures. They had to lower the exhaust temperatures. So I got a feeling it was probably a combination of the both. But there was another argument on there, and guys couldn't figure it out. They raised the compression on these. It went from 14 to 1 to 15 to 1. when they changed this. And part of that, well, I would say most of it, is right here with the valve recess. Guys are arguing about the height right here, and that's all the same, just that valve recess. So this is for an early D19 with the old cam grind and the old heads with the bigger valves. Obviously they less room there, but this one, so the early ones you would time at 16 degrees. This one is timed at 20 degrees. So once you got your timing marks lined up, you got this lined up with the timing marks inside of here, put that 20 degrees, and you should find your line in this window if you did it right, which I've got it. And it's just as easy as lining them up, and the engine's timed at 20 degrees. Pretty simple on this engine, especially with all the timing marks on it. It's kind of dummy proof, really. So the head's getting ready to go on. Everything's buttoned up on the bottom. Basically the head goes on valve train, and then we'll slap it in the chassis here and start putting all the accessories on it. And boom, with a little bit of camera magic, we've already got the engine back in the chassis. Everything's buttoned up on it, we believe. Last night we got fuel system primed. It was turning over. We were dumping a lot of smoke out of there, but it wouldn't fire. And main reason we think is we put cold engine oil, cold antifreeze in it, and then decided that it was going to start right up. And we didn't want to use starting fluid for whatever reason. We just plugged it in overnight and figured we'd come back out today and give it a shot. So the blocks, it's warm. These don't work the best, but it's warm. I'm going to get the glow plug here working, and we'll see what it does, see if it fires up. Should start up and run. There's really no reason it shouldn't. Yeah, so we'll get you set up here and we'll see what happens. Alright, so the book says to run the glow plug for 60 seconds. So that's what we're doing. They actually said temperatures above or below 60 degrees, it's advisable to use it. So, see what happens here. Oh, it's garage door. No solenoid on this for the glow plug, so we're just running jumper cables from a different battery to ignite that. Ouch. Chip over that. Yeah. It is mad. Why is it mad? Alright, we're going to give it another hit on the glow plug before we go messing with anything. See what happens here. Got it. Well, we got a pop. The heater barely warms the block up. Things suck. And not being broke in. I bet if we had a high torque starter on this thing, it'd probably have fired. We do like 30 this time. There it is. I was hoping that would help to blow some out, but I don't know if it's helping or making it worse. We're going to let this thing warm up a bit. Bring you back in just a few minutes. So it's been about 5 minutes. If you look there at the exhaust, it's already cleared up real good. It's idling real good. Well, it's, you know, a little higher than idle right now. Got to get her through the heat cycle, and then we'll retorque the head. Got to take the valve train off to do that. Retorque the head, reset the valve train, run it through another heat cycle, and then reset the valve train again. So we'll bring you back. The most amazing thing is we don't have any leaks. Oh, we only have one leak. Yep, I think we did it. So this is something a lot of people, they just neglect to do, I feel like. But as you can see, that's how much more you get out of these when it's heated up. It's something that pretty much every book that you read tells you to do. And I love the guys that tell me, oh, Reliance head gaskets are junk. And I've always asked them, so well, did you do a heat cycle with it and then retorque them down? And the answer is always no. But you'll get that. I mean, it's a quarter of a turn out of all of them. You guys don't need to see that. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in on the subject.
Then what do you do after you get done retorquing the head?
Oh, well, then you got to put the valve train on and re-rack that because you changed the distance, and then run it through another heat cycle, and then re-rack your valve train, and you're good to go. And I'll bring you back and show you the easy way to rack the valve train too. So after I was talking all that crap about make sure you retorque your head bolts down, I broke one. So after thinking about it for a while, we ran into the hobo freight, and we got some extracting tools and some cheap tools that I didn't mind that I was going to have to modify to work. But then Tom, just being a smart ass over here, he puts the screwdriver in here. He said, does it turn out? And so I started messing with it, and the way that this bolt broke, there's actually a lip in there. We're not getting a good focus on it, but there's actually a lip in there for me to grab with that screwdriver, and it's turning right out of there. So, long story short, we're getting a set of ARP head bolts to put in here. But we got this one out, and we have one to put in it that we can leave it there and not think about it until the ARP head bolts come. That's the goal. Well, there it is. How lucky is that? The reason that it came out so easy, if you guys haven't put 2 and 2 together, is because your head bolts don't bottom out in there. So once it broke, all the tension was off of it, and In theory, it should have came out easy because we had it very clean and light motor oil on it and everything, you know. So in theory, it should have came out that easy, but we prepared for the worst. I'll show you what I got from the Harbor Freight here real quick. So this was my plan. I got this and then this, and the end doesn't fit in here, so it was going to have to get modified. But it was $7 for the kit, so I was hoping I could drill into it, and then we got a long drill bit, and yeah, Bob, like I said, just being a smart ass with that drill bit, or with that screwdriver, turned it out of there. So we have another set of head bolts from his D19. It's in this pile of engines. What's there, 3 engines back here?
Yeah.
And then parts for a 4th one?
Yeah.
So anyway, we just got to find them. So he's digging through parts here and find the head bolts. We'll put one in for now. And we're going to end up getting ARPs ordered for it. And we'll put them in one by one and save our head gasket and stuff. So, you know, what could have been a pretty good catastrophe. This is where we're going to call this one a video. I was going to do the hand clutch in this video too, but I'm up to like 23 minutes or something, so we're just gonna call it a video. There's a lot to cover in the hand clutch. I'm actually gonna kind of show how to rebuild one and everything in that one. So these are 2 parts, ones that I have. This one right here appears that it's in pretty much good shape, but we're gonna take it apart and clean it up. But yeah, then we're gonna be splitting this, which is gonna be a little bit of a pain with the cab on it, just a little bit more added frustration, but it shouldn't be too bad. Once we get these platforms off, it shouldn't be too bad. And there's just enough room to get this shaft out. I mean, like a 1/2 inch extra. So that's nice. That was a worry because that whole shaft's got to come out this way. But anyway, you guys got to see it running. Got to see the first startup. Real happy with how it runs. We got the ARP head bolts. That's our first step today. This is the sheet for the ARP head bolts. Get this all figured out. And if anybody's interested in this, I believe we'll have a order number once we get this. So once I get the head bolts, I'll just have an order number. I'll be able to call ARP, give them that order number, and they'll get head bolts for it. And in the process, we're going to do it for the WD-45 as well, the 230. So yeah, I guess if you guys need anything, let me know. I've got right here, I've got a new old stock set of sleeves and pistons and rings. There is O-rings in here, but I would suggest getting them new. But I also have any size bearings that you need from standard to 30 over. So if you need a kit, let me know. They aren't cheap, obviously, but if you need a kit, I have one. We can also get some flat top pistons for you if you need flat tops. Just let me know. So yeah, all that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Keep an eye out for that hand clutch if you're interested in how to replace and adjust one of those. And I hope to catch you guys on the next one.